The first business owner who is able to answer the phone and book a client has the highest likelihood of securing said client. Now, this is important to know because lots of small businesses, especially local businesses, you think plumber, construction, aestheticians, haircut appointments, haircutters, what the heck, salons. The first when someone calls, whoever picks up first is usually able to get the client. Very quick story. Me and my friend were out and about, and then she got a call that her pipes had bursted, like a pipe in her house had bursted. So she called up a plumber. The first plumber did not answer. She immediately went to call the second plumber on Google. They didn't answer. She immediately went to the third plumber to call. They answered. She got their business. The plumber from the first business called her back about an hour later saying, "Hey, you called. Would love to work with you." She's like, "So sorry. My pipes burst. I need something done immediately. I really want someone else." Now, in that very simple example, if we think about it, when someone's calling your business, they are usually very high intent and a strong desire to get some work done. Otherwise, if they weren't calling, they would go on your Yelp, they would go on your Google, they would look at your Instagram, they look at your Facebook, they look at your TikTok, they look at your YouTube. I think you see where I'm going with this. When someone calls you, they are wanting something probably fast, or they're an old person, in which case if they're an old person, they're not going to look at those things anyways because they're old. So one of the most important automations that you can have is what I call, or not what everyone calls, a speed to lead system. Now let's talk a bit about what that means. So when someone wants to talk to you, right, or when someone wants to inquire with your business, there are a few ways they'll contact you. They will, in the examples I just listed, they'll call you, right? Or they might go onto your website and submit a contact form, right? You've seen that, about us, send us a contact. It has some generic fields, which I have a gripe with in and of itself, because if you're using a contact form really well, you would collect a lot more information at that time, but that's not really what we're talking about. So they will call you, they'll contact you, contact form you, they'll send you a DM on Facebook, Instagram, or they will send you an email. Like, those are all very common ways that someone will reach out to a business. Now, what often happens is they'll reach out to you, they'll call you, oh, yep, connect that. They'll send a contact form, they'll send a DM, they'll send an email. And then what happens is, best case scenario, someone gets back to them eventually. Some businesses, in a really tight run business, that could be within 5 minutes, which is like a really tight ran business. But in the typical small business, they'll respond back within 24 hours, or even more typical, because it's a really small business, like really small, we're talking like in the, sub $400,000 range, they might not get back to you for like 48 hours or even 72 hours, because they're a small business, they have a lot going on, which at that time, the likelihood that this person wants to continue working with you, while still possible, goes down significantly. So if we think about that, and we know that when someone calls, they are looking for an answer right now. When someone submits a contact form, they're interested right now. When someone sends a DM, they're interested right now. And or when someone sends you an email, they're interested right now, right? We know that for a fact. How often do you call someone and you're like, "I'm calling you, but I actually don't want to talk to you"? No one does that. That's super fucking weird. And if you do that, please never ever call me. Most people are going to call you because they want something now. Most people are going to send you a DM because they want to talk now. Most people will send a text message because they want to talk now. So what do? We simply build an automation so that when someone calls you, contact forms, send a DM or send an email, what will happen is it will get routed through some type of technology. So typically speaking, when we build in Go High Level, which is like what we build in our Aloha apps, which is a white label version of Go High Level. Is want to be super transparent. We did not build it from the ground up. It's just our own unique proprietary stuff. Or we'll run it through something like N8N, which is a no-code builder, super technical, don't really got to get into that. But we will route that, and what we'll do is we will then send an automated response. So this way, by sending an automated response, it'll be like, hey, you call them, and as soon as you call, or someone calls you and you're unable to answer for whatever reason, what we'll do is we will wait for exactly 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Exactly on the dot. And there's a reason we do that. There's a study, I can't remember what it is. I want to say it was Harvard, I can't remember. But there's a study that showed that if you contacted someone within 5 minutes of them reaching out to you, the likelihood that they would take the next step in your business went up by almost 400%. So think about that. If someone calls you right now, if you answered within 5 minutes, the likelihood they would buy from you goes up by 400%. That's like huge. Versus if, in concept, you wait till the 6 minute, this would go back down to 100%. Now, I'm just making that part up. That part wasn't part of the study that I recall. But that I'm sure you understand what I'm saying when I say this. So we set this timer for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and there's an important reason why. We set it for this because you also don't want to respond automatically. How weird is it if you call a business that you've never ever done business with before, and as soon as you call them, someone texts you saying, hey, so sorry I missed your call? That's weird, especially in the time of AI where, there's all these AI generated things like, did you actually get my call, or are you some weirdo bot AI thing you're trying to steal my number and fish my information? Ask me how I know about that, because I've been asked that question before from, again, old people. Love them, but they are old. So if we follow that concept and we continue that through, we wait for 4 minutes and 30 seconds because we stay within this threshold of 5 minutes, but we're also not having it be so fast that it's like, whoa, are you just sitting there waiting to text me instead of answering my call or instead of sending me a DM, whatever. So we send it this way. Then what we do is after we send this out, we will then follow up with, depending on whether they call you, contact form, send a DM, send an email, we will then set it up so that we are actually going to follow up to 4 times. 4 additional follow-ups that happen automatically. Again, this is all automated things in order to get a response. Now, if they end up responding back to any of these, then what we do is we route it to an actual human being who can then take the conversation on and begin to work the lead. And this applies to every level of service business that exists. Imagine you're a construction guy and you're out working, you're out in the field, and someone calls you and you can't answer it because you're working construction out in the field. So you missed the call, which could be very valuable, right? Like if you think of a construction job, you could be easily making $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $60,000 per job that comes in. So you're essentially potentially losing, anywhere from $8,000 to $60,000 by not answering that call. So 4 minutes and 30 seconds later, they get a text message that says, hey, so sorry we missed your call out in the field. How can I help you? If they respond back to that, then you, construction owner or construction worker, will get a text message saying, hey, someone responded back. Make sure you go and contact them, right? To that, or something to that effect. And the truth is the same for all of the other forms of contact. So for example, let's say that you own you're an aesthetician, right? You make people look fabulous. Someone sends you a DM on Instagram and you're working on making people look fabulous so you don't see it. Then the system will, 4 minutes and 30 seconds later, will send a DM saying, hey, so sorry. Hey, thanks so much for your inquiry. What can I help you with? If they respond back to that, then the system will send you a message saying, hey, someone just responded back, go and contact them immediately, or something to that effect. Because just by doing that, you are able to drastically increase the amount of sales opportunities you get. Like, again, let's do some very, very simple math on this. Imagine that the price of your offer is $100. I want to use very easy math. $100 is the price of your offer. For you, for every 2 people you talk to equals 1 sale. That means for every 2 people you talk to, you make $100. Now imagine in one day, 10 people contact you, but you're only able to respond to 4 of them because you're working, right? That means you miss 6 people, which means you at minimum lost $300 because you were busy working, which is totally fine and totally understandable. But let's talk about this from a sales perspective. If you were able to even engage one of those people and they're to follow up with you, and this 4 becomes a 5, you just made an extra $100 because a system existed that would contact someone who would call you immediately, send a response email to someone who's in the contact form immediately, follow up with a DM to someone who contacts you immediately, follow up with an email to someone who contacts you immediately. By just making that one change, you could miss 6 calls, but the system contacts all of them, and you're able to get even one more person. You're able to make $100 more in one day. It's like that straightforward. Then again, you math it over. Your business is open 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and you have people who contact you 10 times a day. You miss 6 of them, but you times that by 5, that's 50 missed people. But then the system is able to save you. The system is able to save you 5 of those missed people. You just made an additional $500. And that's it. It's that simple. It sounds very, very crazy, but it's not. Like, these are baseline understandings of what's the cost of not reaching out to someone. On that same note, let's say you're only open 5 days a week and someone reaches out to you over the weekend. Imagine they reach out to you over the weekend and then you get a message. They get a message saying, "Hey, so sorry, we are currently out of office. Someone will follow up with you on Monday or whenever we open next. Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, depending on the business model." Then on Monday, Sunday, Tuesday morning, you log on for the day and you have a list of people who contacted you over the weekend. You can now reach out to them and say, "Hey, John, thanks so much for contacting us the weekend. How can we help you?" And now you have all these people just waiting to be contacted. And that's why I think the speed to lead system is so important, about being able to quickly get to people who contact you. Because if someone calls you right now, they're not calling because they want to talk. Well, I mean, technically they could, but they're not calling because they want to talk to you in an hour. They want to talk to you right now. So if you're unable to talk to them because you're running your business and you're doing your service, the other things that come with being a business owner, if you just have a system that says, "Hey, so sorry I missed you, how can I help you?" to warm them up, once soon as they respond, you get a text message saying, "Yo, so-and-so lead is looking for XYZ." So you can call them up and be like, "Hey, got your call. Hey, this is, Kajana, got your call. Heard you're looking for some new pipes. How can I help you?" Boom. And now we create this great cycle and everything is great. So with that is just one of the many automations that we put into small businesses so that they are able to increase their revenue, i.e. the numbers of dollars that they make, and increase their profit margin, i.e. the number of dollars that they keep and pay themselves or reinvest into the business or do whatever they want. So if you have been struggling, or that you're missing potential money because you don't have someone who's dedicated to responding to calls, you don't have someone dedicated who's just sitting in your inbox replying, you don't have someone who's just sitting in your Instagram or Facebook or Yelp or whatever just replying, or you don't have someone who's just sitting there responding to text messages, we can build you an automation that will do it for you. So with that, we have a link down below. You can book a call with me, and then we are going to be building automations, like done with you automations. So, check back in the very near future where you will see a live build of how to develop a speed to lead system inside of your business, so that in the example that I created, you are making an extra $100 a day, or more importantly, not losing it. So that being said, thanks so much for your time. I'll see you around later.